In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the King Jeffrey OneHive Clash Cup League Elite War. Let's get into it. What is up, everybody? It is JGG here, and welcome to another Clash of Clans War recap. Today, we're looking into the Clash Cup League Elite Week 3 war between King Jeffrey and OneHive. And man, oh man, was this a war. Honestly, it was tons of fun. I had a lot of streaming action involved in this war, and it was fun covering this war, honestly. We had a bunch of people involved. 25v25 war, OneHive versus King Jeffrey. This was definitely going to be one of our tougher matchups in the Clash Cup League, in the CCLE, for sure. So we're going to start off this video here with Jason's attack on Raze, and he's going to be bringing the classic Yeti Smash, but he's got some bowlers involved rather than just P.E.K.K.A.s and Yetis. So see what he's doing here. He's starting with a Ward Mohawk down by 6 o'clock with the King over by 9 to help create a nice funnel for his Yetis to move into the base. He's quad-quaked right over that bomb tower, dropping the Siege Barracks, bowlers, and Yetis to all push into the middle of this base. So as we can see here, that the post-Yeti nerf, which was Yeti Mites now no longer traps, or no longer trigger traps, didn't really do a ton in terms of nerfing the Yetis. We're still seeing them very frequently. He's actually going to quad quake over another section of the base. Forgot to mention that as well. So a octo quake? I guess it can be considered an octo quake. So he's going to octo quake the base, open it up for his Yetis to run through here, and the healer is actually split off towards the right side to where the Yetis are kind of just going to get stuck on walls. And not much moves towards the Town Hall here, but the few Yetis and P.E.K.K.A. that do get to the Town Hall are able to take it down pretty easily here, and he's able to push through the base. I think it was a good plan in general that helped him get this one. I believe this was a fresh hit as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Queen ability still in hand. World Champion ended up dying up top, so it was looking a bit rough on time here, especially with how much was near the top of the screen, but Jason is going to get it done here. Just a small spoiler for you guys. King Jeffrey were able to hit, I believe, 22 triples. It might have been 23. I honestly have lost count. It was an incredible war. Honestly, we saw some crazy attacks from the King Jeffrey side and the OneHive side. One of the most crazy ones I think I saw was a Queen Charge Hog Miner with a back-end Electron. Some crazy stuff there. Actually, I believe Clash with Eric covered some of those raids in his video on his channel, so if you have not already checked out Clash with Eric, please feel free to check him out. You can watch those raids there. Some crazy raids by OneHive there. But, of course, in this video, because I'm a player of King Jeffrey, I'm going to be showing some King Jeffrey raids. I've got 5 of them to show you today. And man, it was so tough picking which ones I would actually show because there were so many good triples. But in order to keep this video under 20 minutes, I had to stick with a certain number of attacks, and I wanted to at least show a lot of variety to show the general meta right now for Town Hall 13. So let's get into the second attack here. We have Hazakura going in on their number 6. I'm not even sure how to pronounce. I think it's like Maddie. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it is. I have no idea for OneHive. So bring in the Drag Bat. So this one we don't see as often, but when we do see it, man, it packs a huge punch here. So really good base identification here, and just going to clear through this base. Fairly straightforward. You got the heroes both at the top and the bottom. King at about, what is that, 9 o'clock side, and the Queen at about 12. Royal Champions coming in with the King to try and take down this air defense and multi-target Inferno. So a very spread approach to start here, making a nice funnel for the Dragons to just go straight for the Town Hall. So he's got that triple Ice Golem CC coming out of the defensive CC. So what he's going to do is he's going to lure it over to the bottom side of the base towards away from the dragons, so that way they're not a issue. So they're going to get dragged all the way to the bottom of the base and be pretty much useless in terms of helping the defense on this base. So here come the dragons in from the 9 to 12 side with a couple of balloons as well as the Grand Warden. So the bats are going to come in a bit later on the right side over by that single target Inferno Tower, because after the multi-target Inferno Tower at the top side and the Town Hall goes down, the only splash damage left alive will really just be those Wizard Towers, which, to be fair, all it takes is one shot and they can deal some massive damage to bats. So, going to start with an Ice Golem over on the right side and going to drop the bat straight behind them as the Wizard Tower is distracted. Wizard Tower still gets one shot off on the bats, so takes down a few of them, and he is going to actually have to end up burning a freeze here to make sure that that Wizard Tower does not kill his bats. Dragons still moving through the base here, super strong, and honestly, really, I think what really secured King Jeffrey the most triples was really just the base identification. and the the ability to use different hits depending on the base. So it was a fantastic showing, and I had tons of fun streaming the war, participating. I actually ended up getting a triple of my own this war, but I'm not going to be showing it in this video, mainly because the base didn't have a royal champion or scatter shots. So it was practically a Town Hall 12. The guy forgot to change his base, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just run in and triple it. Because me personally, I'm not the best attacker. I know how to attack. Am I the best? Am I good at it? Maybe a little bit. Not definitely nowhere near top tier as of yet, but still working on it, practicing and getting better as every day goes on. Doesn't even have his slammer pop until he runs into... No, this Leaky Mine actually doesn't take down the slammer. So yeah, now it's just a matter of cleaning up these dragons, running through here, and taking down the base. So we're starting to see a meta develop and stay strong at Town Hall 13, that being Yeti Smash, Dragbat here and there. Queen Charge Hog Miner is a super strong combo at the moment, and we're seeing a lot of Queen Charge Miner. We're seeing Queen Charge Hogs sometimes, but really not as often as Queen Charge Miner or Queen Charge Hog Miner. But really, right now, Queen Charging is incredibly difficult at Town Hall 13, just because you have to deal with both of those scatter shots, as well as you've got the Inferno Towers to deal with, even if they're set to single, and you've got all the max level Expos now that deal tons of damage, so Queen Charging has become even more difficult. So luckily, that healer buff that came with Town Hall 13, the healer buff to heroes, is definitely going to come into play here. So we have Vicious going in on their number 19 Vonix. He's going to be bringing a Queen Charge Miner hit. This is exactly what I was talking about. We're seeing a lot of Queen Charge Miner in the meta, so he's going to start with his queen over by the 3 o'clock side, and his main objective here is to try and push into that little compartment with that open wall, which is technically supposed to skew pathing, but honestly it works in his favor here, and the queen's just going to kind of walk straight through that little corner there and actually get the Town Hall down. One of the most common things I've seen with Queen Charge Miner, hog hits, whatever the Queen Charge is, most of the time you're sending your queen in to take down the Town Hall. That seems to be the key aspect of these raids, is just getting the Town Hall down early with the queen, and I think that's just because the Giga Inferno at max level can do so much damage to your attacking force. It's just, you're better off getting it down with just the queen, even if the queen takes a bunch of damage and it slows your queen walk down. So the enemy Lava Hound and Ice Golem is going to come out from the CC and delay the queen just a tad bit. Now he's going to drop these Siege Barracks down by 6 o'clock with the Barbarian King, and he's got all of the miners coming in at about the 5 o'clock side. So the queen is still going to keep moving forward. However, the healers have switched, so she is going to go down. He has that Royal Champion in with the miners just to do a bit more support, and really just to try and help take down the enemy heroes, because those are really tough against miners, especially not because they do so much damage, but just because they delay the miners a decent bit to get shot by more defenses. So using the Warden ability fairly early here, which is super crucial to winning this raid, honestly, because he has so many miners left alive and he doesn't have the Town Hall to deal with. So he's better off using that ability early to protect more miners going into the base here. So going to use his second heal fairly early again, but notice the amount of splash damage left at the back end of this base. He really only has 2 Wizard Towers. That single target Inferno is not going to be nearly enough DPS to take down all of these miners by the time they get there. And so now he's got his Royal Champion, miners, and a few hogs from these Siege Barracks moving in to take down this base. That single target Inferno is going to be no match for the 12 to 15 miners that are still alive. Royal Champion ability is now finally going to get used, going to take down some exterior defenses, keeping the miners in the middle of the base. They're going to go for that Master Builder hut and then slowly move their way through the rest of the buildings, tripling the base. So, me personally, at the moment, I think we are in a incredibly strong attacking meta, and what I mean by that is attacking is much stronger than defense at the moment. Maybe it could be because not every single base is a max base, but I still think personally that the offense is much stronger than defense at the moment, which I would even say isn't a bad thing. I think offense should always be a little bit stronger than defense. I don't think defense should ever be stronger than offense, because that makes tripling almost nearly impossible. So we're going to get into another raid here. So we have Mendicus going in with some Queen Charge Miners. So the reason I'm actually showing this raid, funny enough, I was on voice with a good few of the King Jeffrey members, and the first thing Mendicus said after hitting this triple was, "Yo, if I don't get on a recap after that hit, I'm gonna be mad because I never Queen Charge." So here you are, you're here getting a little bit of internet fame here. So he's gonna be starting over here on the 3 o'clock to, or not the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock to about the 10 o'clock side. Going to clear a few of the buildings out of the way to start his Queen Charge into this multi-target Inferno to hopefully go up and take down the Eagle and Inferno, the 2 Wizard Towers and Expo, as well as set a funnel here for his miners. So the Queen is going to kind of go in just a little bit. He's going to delay the healers so that way they don't accidentally get hit by any of the air defense blasts, but the air defense is going to go down, not going to be able to do much. And so now he's peacefully charging into this base with his Queen. Nothing can really take her down with the healers behind her, but he's going to eventually have to use a rage here to speed her through the rest of these point damage defenses. So you can kind of notice the area where he decided to Queen charge into. It was in an area where he wouldn't be targeted by multiple expos and scatter shots, and that's really key when you're planning these Queen charge raids, is that you have to make sure that the area that your Queen charge is actually entering isn't a high DPS area, and if it is, you need to be prepared to use a lot of heal spells. You need to be prepared to use a lot of spell space to keep your Queen alive, because it's going to be crucial to you getting the 3-star. So using an early heal here over the Town Hall, going to actually eventually use the Warden ability to keep everything safe. And the Queen is still going to be cruising along here. She's going to actually take down the enemy the defending ice golems and keep moving down through the base, establishing an even stronger funnel for the miners here to keep them on the right side. So the Royal Champion is actually going to be near the exterior of the base here, keeping all the troops in the middle of the base here. So now you've got the Queen charge on the left side and the Royal Champion on the right, keeping all those troops in the center, pathing directly down through the defenses here. So again, honestly, these kinds of hits just look absolutely overpowering. Look at how many miners are still left alive. The Queen even stayed alive with her ability. You still have that P.E.K.K.A on the outside doing a bit of tanking for these wizards as they slowly wrap around the base and pick up this triple. So a lot of the triples this war honestly were not crazy overpowering, but like a hit like this, like look at how many miners are still alive going into the back end of this base. This base got absolutely crushed. Like honestly, we're seeing a really strong attacking meta at the moment, as well as we're just seeing some really, really well planned out hits from the King Jeffrey side, which is awesome. We also had some awesome hits from the OneHive side as well. Again, if you want to take a look at some of those, we had some Queen Charge Miner with a back-end Electron. If you want to check out some of those, I'll actually link the video in the description. Clash with Eric ended up doing a bit of coverage on this war himself, showcasing that attack. Some super cool strategies there. So now we have another raid that had me biting my nails the entire time. We have Tosa from Croatian Army, who was graciously willing to come and compete here in King Jeffrey for the CCL war. He's going to be bringing some Queen Charge Hog Miner. So we're going to start here with the Queen Charge over by about the 9 o'clock side, and he wants that Queen to loop into the base and nab the Town Hall. That was a part of the plan. Going to actually drop a Wizard with the Queen to actually make sure that he doesn't have to use any spells on taking down the enemy King on the outside, which is really smart. That saves him a lot of spell space. Really just, it saves him a freeze or a rage going into this base here. So he's going to use an early rage here to keep the Queen alive going into this Grand Warden statue, as well as the Scatter Shot and Expo. Going to be moving through here. Healers are still enraged, but the Queen is going to wander outside of that rage fairly early, which is just fine. All you need is those healers to be in that rage in order to keep your Queen alive. So I think you kind of noticed here the pathing would be a bit out of his favor here, because the Queen is actually going to take down this air sweeper, move up to the scatter shot, but rather than go for that Town Hall, she's going to get stalled on these ice golems, which is perfectly fine. Going to use the poison on the ice golems, making sure that they go down fine. Running a bit low on time here, so he's at 1:45. I don't think it was at 1:45 when this raid was going on. I think it was more like 1:50 or so. But he's running out of time here, so he's trying to make sure that he can get the hogs and miners in as soon as possible to make sure that he can actually, you know, not time fill on this base. He also wanted his Queen to grab the Eagle, but I don't believe she... Oh, no, she could reach it. So he's got that Inferno Tower. He's got a freeze because it was shooting the healers. Now, instead of targeting the Town Hall, the Queen starts shooting the wall. Out of all things she could have gone for, she decided to go for the wall, which is not the ideal target here. But he's going to send in the miners to try and help take down this Inferno before the healers go down, but it's not going to be enough, and the Queen is now going to be stuck in a tornado trap, and nothing is going towards the Town Hall. And at this point, you know, any person who's watching this raid is like, okay, he's probably going to one-star here, but miraculously somehow he turns it around. You'll see how that happens. The Queen decides to go up towards the hero pad, the Royal Champion pad, and then target the Town Hall with the ability going to take it down, saving the raid. That was definitely a sigh of relief for everyone spectating here. So got the Royal Champion in the back end to take down a few of the defenses to keep the hogs more centralized inside of the base. And look at how many troops he still has alive here. No spells left, but he's moving into this back end Inferno with so many troops that he doesn't really have anything to worry about here. Queen stays alive through the Town Hall blast and is still doing work in the inside of the base, going to deal with the skeleton trap and keep coasting through. His Queen stayed alive this entire raid. Is it a bit lucky? Maybe so. Is it honestly just perfectly timed? Is it just because Tosa's just an absolute pro? Probably so, but I definitely had to show this hit because it was one of the most. It was a nail biter, 100% a nail biter for sure. But still getting it done for King Jeffrey. Definitely an exciting hit to watch. We watched that one live on stream, and you should have seen my emotions during that hit. It was all over the place. At one moment it looked really good, and then it looked really bad, and then it looked really good again. It was honestly great. So now we have an awesome hit here by Chris, actually going in against Warble for OneHive. He's going to be bringing a Queen Charge Miner raid, and just there's one specific reason I'm showing this raid, and you can see it right here. He's got the Loon going in with the Hog, testing for any traps. Here comes the healers. He's got 2 Expos on the mini Queen, going to rage, and here come the wall breakers. He's going to get a double wall break, pushing his Queen into this base here. Fantastic stuff. You don't normally see a double wall break happen, but there was actually one that happened last week that I didn't go over, but I had to, of course, show this one because, I mean, come on. Double wall breaks, so difficult to do, and if you can't get it through, your whole raid is messed up. So the Queen is actually going to be able to push in here and grab the Eagle as well as the enemy Queen, the Expo, Scatter Shot, a ton of value here for the Queen. Misses the freeze just a tad bit. Doesn't scrape the Scatter Shot there, but he's okay. He's looking okay just because he has the rage over his healers and his Queen. The Ice Golems are slowly going to start deteriorating due to that poison spell, slowing the Queen down just a little bit more. He's going to freeze that Scatter Shot one more time, which is a smart move here, keeping his Queen alive a bit longer. Even though the Scatter Shot does splash damage defense, the amount of damage it does in general is just insane. I've seen it honestly be more of a problem than single target Infernos for Queen charges at times, and that's mainly because people aren't charging into single target Infernos. But now you can see the Siege Barrack was dropped at about the 11 o'clock area, and he's got his main army coming in from about 12. So you can kind of see the pathing for the miners. They're going to stay directly in the middle of that base. That freeze effect from the Town Hall, still slowing down the miners just a little bit, but not going to be for super long. And they're going to keep moving through the space with ease here. Use that Warden ability to keep them alive through that. So now he's got these back-end heal spells to make sure that his miners stay alive. His Queen eventually does go down due to the high concentration of DPS over on the right side, but now he's relying on his miners here to really come through and gut the rest of the space. Uses the Royal Champion ability early to take down a few defenses and get rid of some DPS in the middle to keep his miners healthy. He has those healers alive as well, which are going to keep his miners all at full health, and his Royal Champion at relatively full health as he moves through the rest of his base here. So all of the miners actually path to the outside here, which is not ideal. However, the Royal Champion does get a few shots off on these defenses, which just helps get some DPS out of the way. But that multi-target Inferno is going to stay alive just barely. Oh no, no, I'm sorry. The Royal Champion actually takes down the multi-Inferno, but dies to the Queen or dies to the King shortly after. Goodness, I'm so good at commentating over attacks, as you can tell. So yeah, the miners are now just going to take care of the rest of the buildings here. The only real splash damage defense is going to be the last building that they go towards, so not dealing with any issues here whatsoever. So clearing through the rest of these buildings, dropping those wall breakers just to test for some traps, as well as just some swag he can throw down there. He has the P.E.K.K.A. moving through as well, which honestly could have probably finished this base off on its own. Oh no, the P.E.K.K.A. dies anyway. Never mind. Look at me. I know these raids like the back of my hand, man. It's easy. So again, fantastic triple here by Chris, getting it done for King Jeffrey. But yeah, that is all of the replays I have for you today. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few stats from this war. As you can see here, 72 to 67 over 98% overall destruction for King Jeffrey. We really came through this war, and honestly, the planning that happened for these hits was phenomenal. It was fantastic. We saw a lot of teamwork. As you can see, 22 3-stars for the King Jeffrey side, 17 for OneHive, so they definitely still put out some awesome triples throughout this war. But yeah, honestly, this war was just so much fun to participate in, cover, stream, and even make this recap for. So if you want to get involved with King Jeffrey at all, I will leave their Discord link in the description, as well as I will also leave Clash with Eric's video showing some of OneHive hits also in the description, as well as you'll also find the Clash Cup League Discord in the description. All the info you'll need will be there for you. So yeah, that is going to do it for me though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like the video, as well as subscribe for some more awesome Clash of Clans content, as well as follow me on Twitch for some awesome Clash of Clans streams throughout the week. I've been trying to stream daily as of making this video, but we'll see how that goes as the college semester progresses. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. See ya.